The following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of The Grind with me, your host, Hibak Said. This week, we're going to be delving into the beauty industry where we're looking at beauty clinics and a beauty lab. We want to know what the difference is. The beauty clinic or the beauty industry keeps on growing and there's so many different things that are being offered, and maybe this is a business venture that you would like to get into. But before we even delve into the details, let's look at the market margins.
The beauty and personal care industry is one of the fastest growing industries in Kenya, having grown by 400% in 4 years, from 26 billion Kenyan shillings in 2019 to over 100 billion shillings in 2023. As of 2023, the country's population hit 55 million, with more than 50% of them being the youth. Kenya's mushrooming population presents an extraordinary opportunity that lies in the potential for a so-called demographic dividend of sustained rapid economic growth in the coming decades. The demographic dividend promises social and economic policies that promote open trade, flexible labor markets, and investments in all sectors, including the development and infrastructure sector, education and public health, and luxuries for the youthful population. The trade advantages do not stop there. It also caters to the 500 million population of the Eastern African region, who rely on goods that come across the Kenyan busy ports because of their lenient trade policies. As of 2022, economic prospects were positive, with above 6% GDP growth expected, largely because of expansions in the telecommunications sector, transport, construction, and a recovery in agriculture. Kenya has been ranked by the World Bank among top countries to invest in their ease of doing business rating.
And right from the market margins, we have our entrepreneur of the week. She's just going to be telling us how exactly she's gotten into this industry, how her journey has been like, and how she's been faring on so far. You can start by introducing yourself, your name, what is your business, why exactly did you go into this business?
Okay, my name is Brenda. I'm a medical esthetician. And it's a long journey. It has been a long journey. I don't know where to start because we are 2 years now at Imara Mall. And I don't know where to start, honestly speaking, because it has been quite a journey.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe if you could just tell us, the beauty industry is so wide, and when people are getting into it, they get so confused because there's so many things that you can do. Why did you choose to go into the beauty lab and clinic subsector?
Actually, ours is not a beauty clinic, it's an aesthetic clinic. So we are in an aesthetic industry. Yes. And when I talk about aesthetics, we have different aesthetic setups. We have medical aesthetics and beauty aesthetic also. And maybe I can say this is a medical aesthetic institute.
Right. Maybe, Brenda, if you could just tell us, a medical aesthetic clinic, right? How exactly does that, differ from a spa, a beauty spa, or even a beauty shop?
We have different setups when it comes to aesthetics. Right. We have medical spas, we have medical clinics in aesthetics, we have cosmetic aesthetic clinics, and ours is a medical aesthetic clinic. And actually, the difference is we maybe in beauty setups, beauty clinics, they don't deal mostly with medical products. They don't deal with medical aesthetic products and medical also aesthetic treatments, as we deal with medical aesthetic treatments. Yes, I think that is a bit of the difference.
Right. So when a customer typically comes to you, what are some of the services that you offer?
Actually, for us, we work with dermatologists. We have to work hand in hand with dermatologists. In aesthetic, and aesthetic is wide. It is wide. Also, for dermatologists, they have nowadays they are doing aesthetic medicine. It's a course whereby they are, because for them it's medical. They do aesthetic medicine trainings. Okay, but for us, we are not medics. We just started somewhere and. In between schools, because I've done choniotherapy and I've also done medical aesthetics. I got myself into the field whereby mostly I work with plastic surgeons, I work with doctors, dermatologists, and I work with cosmetic dermatologists also. And in that sector of dermatologists, they also have different setups when it comes to their line. So we work hand in hand, okay? That's where we come in, yeah.
So when a typical customer comes, you can tell them that maybe medical aesthetics is something that you would, is it the products, is it the procedure? Because you do work hand in hand with dermatology.
The procedures we do, we have always to work with either you are working with a dermatologist or you're working with a plastic surgeon, or you're working in a field where there's a doctor. You get, that is the difference. So every procedure you have to collaborate. Both of you, and you know where to say no. You know your guidelines, you know your limit, you know what you can do, what you can't do, you know whereby you can refer a case to a plastic surgeon. Basically, we advise patients or clients what to do with their skin, okay? We don't, we deal with conditions, yes, and we treat conditions, but we don't offer clinical treatments. That we leave for dermatologists. And that is the difference mostly, because you have to know your lane. You have to know your lane and stick to your lane.
Right.
Yes.
When it comes to capacity building, you've said that you've had a number of, trainings that you've undergone so that you can be able to give your customers the value for their money. How important was it for you to go through this? How easy was it for you to get this learning process within the country?
Oh my God. Most of the trainings we don't do in the country. Actually, you have to go outside the country. I've traveled a lot. I started in cosmetic science, I did in South Africa. Then aesthetic medicine, I worked with a plastic surgeon who actually signed for me to do aesthetic medicine training. And since I've worked with most of those doctors, I think they see the potential. So they sign you to courses that, because I also am a trainer, okay? They sign you for courses that you wouldn't also imagine that you can, individually. I wouldn't have walked because those are medical setups. I wouldn't have just walked and said, you know what, I want to study this, okay? So it's a journey, and it's also, what I can say, relationships matters. The relationship you build with people you work with. That is what matters. Yeah, I don't think those courses are here in Kenya, but we are starting aesthetic trainings in Kenya in a medical setup whereby if you've graduated, you've done anatomy, physiology, now you can graduate. At least you can go to the next level of doing aesthetic medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
Brenda, maybe just demystify this for us. When people think about maybe even plastic surgery, they think about distorting their features, but it is such a wide field. Maybe demystify it for Kenyans a little bit. When people seek these services sometimes, what is the thing that they seek?
Before someone decides to do something like a plastic surgery, you need to consult, okay? Because there are other treatments you can get before you get to that level that you feel that, you know what, I want to do a surgery. So you have to consult. There are so many good people, good doctors who can advise you towards that line. But I don't advise a person to just jump and wake up today and say, you know what, today I'm doing a surgery.
Brenda, this is a business and you have customers who come in all the time. Maybe if you could just tell us, what is the perception with Kenyans? What is your customer base like?
Okay, for us, we work with bookings. And personally, it's whereby a client or a patient comes in and they want instant results. Right. That's a challenge. Right. There's no instant result. When you start aging, you don't just start today you've started aging. Okay, maybe you've not been using your treatments well, you've not been using your home care well, you've not been using sunscreens, you know, so you don't start, like, it's not an instant aging. So when you expect instant results, you know, that's a misconception. And also in the industry, there are so many, like, people promising instant results, people promising that when I do this, by maybe 2 weeks, you're going to be looking okay. That's a lie. It's a big lie. Yeah.
For many of the youth or the people who are watching The Grind right now, they might be thinking of going into this, but you've already said, you know, you need to be trained outside the country. So they could be discouraged a little bit. What would you tell them?
The good thing right now is, just like me, who has gone outside to be trained, now we offer training. Like, I have so many people I mentor. I offer my trainings to them, okay? But maybe the disadvantage is because I can't certify them. But at least they can work with dermatologists, they can work with people, and they give those treatments in a well, like, you get the real training, okay? But it's coming up. It's coming up. That's what I can say. Yeah, people have started thinking that they need good training. They don't want to give the botch results. So yeah, it's coming up.
And for the people who are even starting out, what would you say are the 3 basic things that they should be fulfilling so that they can be, you know, they can do what you're doing?
Oh my God, you have to have a training. You have to have a mentor. Personally, I think I started with Dr. Joyce. I've worked at Linton's for the longest, and Dr. Joyce was my mentor. And she used to send us to South Africa for other brand trainings. That's how you get your channels. Now, for those who can't afford, like, to go outside you have to you have to do the basics. Then you get a mentor to hold your hand. It's not an easy journey.
Right, but yeah, it is a very doable journey.
It is very doable. Nobody should ever tell you that you can't. You can. You can be anything. You can become anyone that you want. You can train anything. Like, I train with doctors, okay? And I can sit in a class with a doctor, and then they are like, how come you're not a medic, you know? Yeah, it's how you connect with people.
Right. And it's a very doable thing if you want to go into the beauty industry, the aesthetic industry. These are things that you can learn both locally and internationally. And these niche markets that keep coming up is where you should be aligning with so that you can be very, very successful. We will be talking to Brenda a little bit more, but first let's go on a very short break. When we come back, much more on this topic. And welcome back to The Grind. We have delved into the aesthetic industry, into the beauty industry. We want to look at different niche markets that are coming in that sector. But first, let's take a look at the business capital.
Aesthetic medicine could raise a lot of questions, but away from societal beliefs, did you know that aesthetic medicine is a branch of modern medicine that focuses on medical procedures aimed at improving physical appearance? To do this, experts in the field use non-invasive to minimally invasive cosmetic procedures. In Kenya, it is emerging as a trend as more and more people look to improve their appearance. People not only want to be in good health, but they also want to improve their appearance through the treatment of conditions such as scars, skin laxity, wrinkles, moles, liver spots, excess fat, cellulite, unwanted hair and baldness, among other bodily problems. So how can you start this business yourself? 1. Conduct market research. First, it's fairly new in the market and therefore, most people are not even aware that it can be done locally. And secondly, some people are still very skeptical of the results. 2. Develop a brilliant business plan. When starting a business, you are the vision bearer of your idea, and therefore, you must develop a unique strategy for the startup. 3. Recruiting. This trade requires special skills that need certification. You must find the right person with the right qualification for the skills you promise your clients. 4. Consider industry challenges. At any step of the way, there are always challenges, and it's important to keep this in mind and tackle them head on. While the aesthetic industry is just beginning to be adapted in the Kenyan markets, the rest of the world has been doing it for years. Use this as a learning ground for your business. 5. Keep your eye on the prize. Once you are as competitive as anyone else in the industry, you now stand a chance to be at the same level as the rest of the medical world.
And right from our business capital, we have our analyst of the week who has been in this particular niche sector for 2 years now. Brenda was just telling us about her journey, and now she's going to be telling us how the industry in total is working out. Brenda, maybe unaweza tuambia tu, how exactly was your journey when you were starting out? I do realize that it's very hard to bring maybe even some of these products from other countries into this country. What were some of the challenges that you faced?
It's challenging. That I can't lie to you. It's challenging. You have to save like for years. For those who don't have backup, you have to save for years, like to be able, like my first machine, I had to save like for maybe 2 years, 2 years so that I can buy. And I was working for Lintons, like I said. And some people have backings, family backings, or maybe you partner with friends. Yeah, but it's not an easy journey. Honestly speaking, it's not an easy journey. You can also choose to work for somebody and then they decide that they open a branch and you become partners. Yeah, it's a lot that can be done. Yeah, at the end of the day, it happens. Yeah, somehow it happens.
Brenda, for this particular sector, it can be very competitive because I do realize there's so many people who are offering sometimes the very same thing you're offering so close to you. How do you make an edge for yourself?
My edge is because of the trainings that I have. At least when I give a treatment, I can maybe that client or patient can do a referral to the friends. You grow your market in a very weird way. I think it's God's way how you grow your market, because I can't say it is automatic. I can't say it is automatic, but through the connections that you build, through people you meet, through the trainings you do to people, yeah, that's how you grow your channel.
Right. One would even say some of the products that you use are consumables, and quality is such a huge factor for this. Some of the things that you get are imported. What are some of the problems that you get into when you're bringing these products into the country?
You want me to be honest?
Yes.
KEBS is a killer
right.
somehow in this industry. Right. KRA, they're always behind you. But we have people who import. If maybe you want a product or you want a brand, you go just talk to somebody. There are pros in importing in Kenya, and they bring them in the right channels. They have the papers, pharmaceutical board, paper, everything. They have them. So like for us, because we have to deal with somehow not medical products, but they are medical, certification is very important.
Right, you're in the middle ground.
Yeah, we are in the middle.
Right, and now that we're talking about certification, there are policies and regulations that the government keeps coming up with. What are maybe some of the policies that have either helped your business or that have somehow killed your business?
Like now, when it comes to aesthetic medicine, there's that tug of war, because dermatologists feel like we are invading their field. Right. That's a big challenge. But again, you come together and reason together, and it becomes easy. So you have to work with them. We have to always work with people, with the right people. Yeah.
Right. And when it comes to paperwork, now that we're even talking about that, you said that you're in a very delicate middle space. It's not necessarily medical, but it's also beauty. It's halfway in. What are some of the paperwork that you need to have, some of the permits that you need to have?
You have to work with people who are certified for importation. That is number one. Yeah, and especially in Kenya, they don't compromise like bringing fakes. Okay, there are so many fakes, or maybe not so good products that come into the market, but once you're caught, you're done. Okay, so you have to be sure that you deal with legit people who bring in good products and quality products, because for them, they are registered to bring on board to Kenya. Yeah.
We've been talking about challenges so much, but you've been doing this for 2 years and you keep on doing it, right?
Yes.
And maybe if you could just tell us, what are some of the things that keep you in this business, that make you believe in this business?
It's passion.
Right.
It's passion. It's not, actually sometimes it's not even about money. It's about when you offer a good service or a good treatment to a client or to a patient, that passion that you're doing the right thing and the peace that you're doing the right thing, and that alone makes you feel like you can go on and go on and go on and go on. And this industry is not a bad industry, but the requirement is the reason why somehow one feels like giving up. But when you have passion, you can't give up. Yeah.
Customer satisfaction is also very, very important, right? How do you achieve customer satisfaction? How do you get those reviews? How are you even using social media maybe to expand your business?
Trainings, and remember trends also. Like in Kenya right now, things are expounding. They are like, today you wake up, you're like, there's a new treatment in the market, you know. But what I can also advise, you have to start somewhere. You don't have to start up there. You have to start in the middle ground, and you have to find your way to the top. Yeah, so I believe that also there are people, again, who hold your hands. They are your die-to people, you know. Whether you're failing, you're falling, you're up there, they are just there to support. Yeah, so support system is important. It's unfortunate that in Kenya, people in this industry or entrepreneurs in this industry, they are not so supportive, but we like feel like maybe Brenda knows a lot, someone else knows a lot, so it's like a competition. But I think that it should not be a competition. There is food for everyone.
Right.
Yes.
The work that you do is very delicate, and you need very specific skills to do the work that you're doing, right? And you have employees that work for you. How exactly do you capacity build them and train them in order to ensure that whatever quality, whatever service you promise your customers is what they'll get?
Because you have to like educate your people. The people you work with, you have always to make sure they are educated. You support them through education, nothing more. Moral support, education, making sure that they, you know, you can't just ignore someone you work with because for you, you're okay, you know. So you work as a team. You work as a team, and I think that is everything that has happened to us so far. And we are not so big, but we value our clientele. We keep a close relationship, and also confidentiality, client confidentiality. Even if they come as friends, you have to distinguish between keeping your private matters about your clients private.
Right.
Yeah.
Confidentiality is very important.
Confidentiality is very important in this industry. Yes.
And the beauty industry keeps on changing, and things are always developing. Where do you see yourself going, maybe even in the next 5 years? What are some of the skill sets that you think you're going to add on to it?
5 years, I want to see us doing collaborations with like dermatologists or plastic surgeons that are in Kenya, whereby estheticians, whether you're a medical esthetician or an esthetician or a beauty therapist, whereby you can work hand in hand and sit together with dermatologists and discuss trends or discuss treatments without judging. That is where I would want Kenya to go, because like in South Africa, estheticians work hand in hand with plastic surgeons, with cosmetic doctors, and it's not a big deal. In Kenya, we feel like there's that gap. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In 5 years, we hope that that gap will have minimized to like 20% gap.
Right, and
yes,
there's always competition between countries, and we see people who are always either flying out to get these, you know, surgeries or these procedures being done on them, and some people who just decide to do it locally. And now that we're even concentrating on that, where do you see the learning process going? Because it's not really formalized within the country, and I don't see it, being done in a lot of universities or institutions of higher learning. Where do you see these trainings going?
Trainings are coming up, like I said, and I believe in the next, let's say, 2 years, there will be aesthetic trainings in Kenya, a lot of them. Yeah, so there is that growth. There will be whereby a beauty therapist will graduate to being an esthetician or an aesthetic medicine person, and I think there's growth. There will be growth, yeah.
And you've even said yourself, in the next 5 years, you want collaborations within the country. Yes. There's so much competition even out of this country, and Kenya could emulate a lot from them. What are some of the procedures or even some of the things you've seen in other countries that you would like for us to adopt here?
So many. I feel like we should learn about not misusing, and especially aesthetic machines. We should do them, do the treatment, offer the treatments the right way. Again, that is education and training. About other countries, I feel like for example, for us here, we work with plastic surgeons from Egypt and a plastic surgeon in Dubai. When a patient, like maybe they feel like they got a treatment and it didn't go well, not necessarily from us, from other places, we refer them to them and they do a Zoom meeting, and then sometimes they offer even to come to the country and correct those procedures. Not because that we don't have people who can do it here, but remember, again, people want their confidentiality to be maintained.
Right. The beauty industry is constantly growing, even on the digital spaces, and this is something that you could learn yourself. I hope this has been as informative to you as it has been to me, and maybe this is a niche sector that you, once again, can take advantage of. Thank you so much for joining us for this particular episode. You can give us your views, or you can even recommend some businesses that we could cover on The Grind, on the numbers on your screen and the social media handles on your screen as well. But for now, I have to bid you adieu. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Hibak Saeed. Good night.